Brighton Beach Busking presents
Harris, Sadie, Goran, Chris, Mike the Mike. Welcome to
the Busking Break.
I know, I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm good.
The show where we interview your favourite Brighton Beach Buskers, finding out the stories behind the musicians that sound our streets.
I brought all these people together, have I killed everybody?
Like stressing out, like, oh my god, what am I going to do with my life? Rah, rah, rah.
Make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you do not miss an episode. So come with us and be part of this journey.
Right Ben, you've asked me quite a fair few questions. So Ben, you asked me a lot of questions.
Okay then Ben, the interviewee has become the interviewer and we're going to swap places now. Alright.
So, Ben,
So, you asked me a few questions.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of The Busking Break, filmed at the Works Pier. I am August Radio Project, and if you didn't know, as well as interviewer, YouTube creator, musician, I am also a busker here in Brighton. So all the buskers that I have interviewed decided that they wanted to ask me questions too. I hope you enjoy it.
Right Ben, you've asked me quite a fair few questions, so I'm gonna sort of unweave a little bit more for you. As some of the people may already know, Ben has a wonderful YouTube channel, and I want to know like what made you start it and what were the things that you found difficult, like the hurdles when you were starting it. I know for me, like my YouTube channel is very tiny. There's not much on it, and I like deleting videos after I scrutinized after them, and I'd much prefer putting a picture of a dog and the dog singing than my face. So, what about you?
So, the whole idea of this YouTube channel came, there's a author and artist called Austin Kleon. Have you ever heard of Austin Kleon?
I'm afraid I'm not that cultured.
Oh, okay, so Austin Kleon has several books that I've taken loads of influence from. His first book's called Still Like an Artist, and the premise of that book is everything that's original is just a copy of lots of ideas. You copy a couple of ideas and it becomes your original thing. So that's the premise of that book. And the follow-up of that book is something called Show Your Work. And I was clearing out some stuff and I stumbled upon Show Your Work. I've read it several times, but this was sort of early last year. And the opening chapter to Show Your Work has a quote, and the quote says, "You don't find your audience finds you.
I like that.
But you need a way of being found."
Yeah.
And this like hit me, like, oh, okay, wow. And then he has this section in it about process is more important than product. So people are more invested in your process than your product. And I was thinking about this and I was like, you know, I used to play in a band and I did some wonderful, incredible things in this band. And then that band came to an end and now I'm this solo musician. I don't want to just be the product this time. I want to show people the process so that they can do things I've done or find their own path and do, the band I was in wasn't particularly well known, but we did insane things. You know, we travelled a bit like you, and you've busked and you've travelled, and these things open doors for you.
They definitely do.
And it doesn't matter whether you get loads of followers or you get famous or a #1 hit. The important thing is you connect with people and you experience life. And I just thought I need to make videos that get this across. I need to share what I've learned so people don't have to go through, what took me 3 years might take someone else 3 months. And I just had this kind of realization that the process is what's important to everyone. After all, that's life, right? Like, life's the cheesiest, we'll go for some cheesy quotes again, but like, life's the journey, not the destination. And it's the same for any pursuit, especially when it comes to creativity. And I think that, you've got to think of it like you've got this huge canvas and you're forever drawing bits of it to make a big picture. So every video, every kind of bit that I'm trying to put out there is just part of this wider canvas. And, I guess I'm still figuring that out still, but that's why that's what the whole idea of the process is.
So Ben, you asked me a lot of questions. Now it's my turn to do the same. I'm going to ask you a question.
Awesome.
So you were saying earlier, we were just saying behind the camera that you do some busking and you do music. What sort of music do you do?
Woo! That's a $1 million question.
Hard question.
So I grew up listening to bands like Green Day and
Mhm.
E22. So
Nice.
they're like my foundation. So although I have lots of different tastes and influences from all over the place, I think at the core, that's where I sit.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I mean, I played an open mic last night, and the first thing the guy said was like, "Oh, you probably like punk rock, right?" Even though I'm just like a singer-songwriter with an acoustic.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but I guess that's the core,
Mhm.
and then it branches out like everybody else's does.
Yeah.
So it's like a punk rock acoustic, but then with all these different flavours coming into the mix.
Amazing.
So that's how I describe the music. And then it's obviously really influenced by being a busker. I don't know if
Yes.
you find the same, but since I've been busking, and since I've been frequently busking, I found my style almost change a little, because I'm playing to people passing by.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like this tiny window of opportunity that you get to kind of capture their attention,
yes,
right?
so true.
And I think that changes a little bit. I spent a lot of my kind of music career in a band where you play gigs and there's plenty of people, but they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they can choose to leave.
Yeah, but they're staying.
They're staying, yeah. And I think busking, it influences your style a little, because you're having to, just have that little tiny bit
Of someone's time.
Yeah.
It's literally kind of like not like putting a show on like all the time. Like you always have to
Uh-huh.
be the best
Uh-huh.
like for every second. Like, I
Exactly.
completely get that.
You're
Yeah.
just playing for that little sort of 10 seconds that they see you,
Mm.
and then so
Interesting.
I guess it's changing, forever evolving, but at the
Love
core,
that.
Green Day.
Perfect.
Okay then, Ben, the interviewee has become the interviewer, and we're going to swap places now.
All right.
I'm a terrible interviewer because I haven't got a clue what I'm going to ask you right now.
Even better, spontaneity.
I want to think of, here's a good one. What is music to you?
Oh. This is a question that I like to ask, because the answer is, it could be so deep. I think that for me, music, it's life. And I say that like music's life, but it really is. Like, you said it yourself, it's a language that everyone understands. You can be anywhere in the world and people understand it. I'm sure you experienced probably on your travels when you were busking and things, like, you might not be able to speak the same language as somebody, but you can start playing a song and you've instantly connected. And I think that power, it's just monumental. I recently went to Switzerland, and I was just sort of, I was meeting one of my partner's friends and her boyfriend, and we were just staying at their house, and they're really nice people and really nice couple, and then they turned around and they said, "Oh, we've got a guitar," after I'd said I'm a musician, and I got the guitar out and we started playing, and it instantly, like, we went from like acquaintances to like best friends, because everyone in the room was like, the music had just like, if you could see it, it would be like this laser beam connection between everyone, and that's what music is to me. It's the connection, and you see it when you're busking. Like, you'll be busking, and again, if you could imagine, like, you're like the orb of light because you're playing music, and it just like shines to people as they walk past.
Absolutely.
And then they take that with them, and it carries out. So for me, it's connection, it's life.
It is such a great way to connect with people, for sure.
What is busking for you? What does it mean?
What's busking for me? Nice. Good question. So I first started busking like a lot of the buskers we've had on when I was a teenager, just with a bunch of friends, just going into our local city and see what happened. And one of the first times we went busking, a big group of like a tour guide group came round, and they all stopped for us, and they just all flung us their change. And from that minute, it was like, oh, people actually, want this. This isn't just something that people do. And then when I was in a band, we used to busk. When we'd tour, we'd go like wherever we were, we'd set up for a busk that day to promote the show. And one of the craziest times was we played in Newquay, funny enough, in Cornwall. We played a festival there called Beach Break. And this festival was, the year we played this festival, it liquidated the company that ran it halfway through the festival. So the festival collapsed in the middle of the festival. So loads of the stages cancelled their shows and stuff. It was a pretty wild scenario, but we decided we would busk every single day at the festival, and we were playing on a Sunday, so it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday festival. We showed up on like a Thursday and we busked all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and our show was in the evening on the Sunday. And the whole time we were just telling people, we're playing this stage at this time on the Sunday, this stage this time on the Sunday. And then on the Sunday morning, that's when we were told the festival was cancelled because the company had liquidated. But our stage was one of the only stages that decided to stay open. And where we told everybody that we were playing at this festival, that we were playing at this stage at this time, and also where all the other stages were closing, it meant we showed up for our set and we just had a sea of people, like a completely sold out venue. And which was like really early on in our band's career, so it was like the first taste of what it would feel like to play out like a real proper show where everyone's there to see you. And from that moment, it was like, okay, this is the power of busking. Like, this is more than just, you know, playing on the street. This is like something that can lead to so many more things.
Okay, so yeah, I think I understand. So one of the reasons you were busking, like all of us do, is to capture that experience.
To capture the experience, and also I think that in a time where like the music industry is all over the place, and to get paid to play music can be, it's a navigation you have to make, right? If you stick a song online, you're not going to see a very instant return. But if you go down to the beachfront, you start playing, it doesn't even have to be money. It's just the reaction. You see it instantly in people's faces, like they enjoy this, they care for music. And in a world where it can feel sometimes like people don't value it as much, it just shows you that it really is alive. It really is.
Of music, universal
really,
connection.
Yeah. And it's opened all this up. It means I'm here today. It means I'm speaking to you. It's that's it. That's what it is.
Hello, Benedict. So you asked me a few questions, and you know, I'm quite curious to have met you. I don't think we've met before, and suddenly there you are, and you obviously have an empathy and an understanding. You told me you've been busking as well recently, and you've got so a question. So and you're doing a project, I hear, called the August Radio Project.
Yeah, that's me.
And is that you as an artist? What is that?
So this is the name I've given to kind of me as an artist, as a musician, as a creative as a whole. So I used to play in a band. For a long time I was in a band called Ghouls. That's what the band name was. And then Ghouls came to an end at the end of 2019.
You sound a bit punky.
We were kind of punk, yeah. We had a horn section, so we had a lot going on. And my entire life was dedicated to being in a band up until this band ended, which was in 2019. I'd
the dream.
Sown my identity in this band, right? So, and when it came to an end, I woke up the next day and was full of dread. Because I suddenly thought, I don't know who I am. I don't know what my identity is.
Yeah.
And for a minute or so, I was just thinking, I won't do music for a bit. I'll just see what else happens. And then the pandemic hit, and suddenly I was given all this time to think about it, and it was like, all I want to do is create. I want to, I feel like called to like make stuff, whether it's art, music, little films, whatever it is. I don't feel like I can put this to bed. This is me. And I didn't want to call it my name. I wanted to call it something that had the potential to be bigger than me, that just was called something, whether it was just me or whatever. And
I came up with August Radio Project. The word August or the name August is really significant in my life. It's my partner's birth month. It's the name of the cafe we went to when we first ever went on a trip together. It's what we always joke that we're going to call our dog August, which we haven't got yet. August the dog is going to happen. we're manifesting that. So August was like this really powerful, word. So I thought that's a great, I'm gonna include that somehow. And then Radio Project, at the time, because the pandemic had hit, everyone was doing these live streams, right? They were doing them online on like the webcams and stuff. So I was doing this on a weekly basis through my old band's sort of social medias. And I thought I like this kind of medium. I like the idea of doing something that isn't just music. It isn't just the band. It isn't just going out playing gigs, releasing songs. I want to capture everything. So Radio Project was like this idea of a broadcast, broadcast of creativity. And I guess over the 2 years that I've been doing this now, it's manifested into this kind of, I don't know how to say it other than like, I'm here for the creatives. I'm not just a creative myself. I'm not just a musician myself. I'm trying to, everything I've learned through my career, everything I've done as a musician, everything I've done as an artist, everything I've read, everything I've heard, all this information, all the things I learned from guys like you, from meeting all the incredible buskers through doing this, I want to get that out to people. I feel called to like tell everyone, let them know it, whether it's some simple nugget of information, something as integral, like you said, make art that's that's true to you. Stop worrying, don't make the plan, make the art and then let the plan form around the art. That's an incredible bit of information that I now feel called to spread. I want to let people know. So that's what August Radio Project is. It's not just me and a guitar. It's me and a guitar and telling you that if you want to try and do the same, you can. And here's some information from Mike. Here's some information from, I don't know, everyone else we've spoken to, everything else I've read, everything else I follow. That's the idea. It's a broadcast. And I don't know where it will go from here, but I'm just letting it happen. A bit like busking. You just let it happen. It's not like it's not like a gig where you have all the plan and everything runs on the time. You just turn up and you just go with it. And that's kind of how I'm trying to.
You used the word creative there, or creatives, in fact. I find that a very interesting term. It's a word that's cropped up a lot more in recent times. Because now we're in the age of where we're required to define ourselves. ADHD or these things, do you see? Can you tell me what it is that's behind that word for you, creatives?
Sure. So there's a couple of ways to interpret the word creative, and there are people who I look up to who will say things like creative isn't a noun. You can't use it but for me, the thing is I preach two things. I think that you can use creative as a noun to capture the fact that you're somebody that is drawn to making things. I think that within every single human being is a creative. I think if you look at the core root of life, you're here to create. That's why you're here in the first place, because you got created, right? So I think everything is about creating, and to sort of deny that you aren't creative, I think that's because maybe you were educated in a way that told you that you're not really a creative person, you're more this. And I think that's wrong. I think that everyone inside them has some kind of creativity, and they might be doing it without knowing, like my brother, for example, he's like a coach, like a gym coach, but he's creating training plans and he's creating brand and he's got this he's creative. You might not see that on the surface, but he really is. And I think that this is the idea, is to spread this sort of ethos that anyone can be a creative. But the term creative, it isn't defining one group of people, but you can use it as a word to define yourself. And I think that to sort of explain that a little bit more, I find it hard to sort of call myself just a musician, because although I'm the term musician can mean so many things. You're a songwriter, you're a performer, you're, I don't know, a entertainer. Under that branch, there's so many things. But then also a musician, a lot of musicians are thinking about the way they look when they perform, or the way that they come across. They're sort of like, you probably find yourself drawn to artwork, and even myself, like I illustrate, I do all these different things. I make videos, I make films, I do these kind of, so I find it hard to call myself just a musician. Whereas if you call it creative, it's got like, I feel like that captures all of that within. So that for me is what that term means.
That's nice. That's really cool.
Thank you for watching the Busking Break here on the Brighton Beach Busking YouTube channel. If you haven't already, then please click subscribe, like this video, and hit the notifications bell so you know when videos have been posted. Go and check out our busking guest. All their links are in the description. I have been your host, August Radio Project. If you're a musician, creative, and you like challenges, or you need some tips and tricks, then go and check out my YouTube channel, also linked in the description. Thank you to Works for welcoming us to the Works Pier and believing in the project. If you're a creative looking for workspace in Brighton, contact Works through the details in the description. They offer co-working, craft space, sound studios, offices, meeting rooms, and more. Also, thank you to Mug Time for the wonderful mugs. You can find the link to their Amazon shop in the description below. And thank you to you for watching the Busking Break. And I'm sure I will see you in the next one. Thank you.